Hey guys, Chris here for another Cloud Quickie. Today I'm going to take you through the capabilities of the OCI Flexible Compute Service. When deploying a compute instance in the public cloud, one of the first things you need to decide upon is the instance type and size. Depending on the hyperscaler, you could literally have hundreds of options to choose from. Getting this wrong can often mean you pay for resources you don't need, or worse, your workload doesn't perform as expected. The OCI Flexible Compute Service solves this exact issue. So let's go take a look. I've logged into my OCI console and we're going to go ahead and create a new compute instance. Let's go ahead and give this a meaningful name. And I'm pretty happy with the compartment that this is defaulted to, as well as the availability domain in Sydney, Australia. Now we get to come down and select the image and the shape. The image is the operating system. It's pre-selected Oracle Linux 7.9, but for this demo, I think I'm going to go with Microsoft Windows Server 2019. I'm also super familiar with the terms of use for Oracle and Microsoft Windows on OCI, so just go ahead and select that checkbox and select the image. And now this is where we get to select the shape type. And so we're going to go ahead and select Change Shape, and we have a couple of different options up here. So we've got processors from both AMD and Intel available. These are the x86-based processors. We also have ARM-based processors, and these come from Ampere, as well as our previous generation and specialty shapes, so things like high-performance computing and GPUs. But for this case, we're just going to look at AMD, but I should note that there are flexible shapes on AMD, Intel, and Ampere. But sticking with AMD for the time being, we're scrolling down and we can see it's already pre-selected the latest generation of AMD shape available in OCI. And now we have a slide control, where I can select the specific number of OCPUs I need for my compute instance. For those of you not familiar, an OCPU is a full dedicated hardware core of the processor. So inside the operating system, one OCPU equals 2 vCPUs because we have hyperthreading enabled. So I can just go ahead and move the slide control all the way up to 64 OCPUs if I wanted. So that would be 128 vCPUs inside the VM. I can also select up to a whole terabyte of memory as well, or anything in between. For this particular use case, I'm going to go for something a little bit more modest, and I think I'm just going to go for, let's say, 7 OCPUs and 17 gigabytes of memory. So all I had to do was select the OCPU and gigabytes of memory, go ahead and click Select Shape, scroll down. It's already pre-selected my default networking, so I'm happy with that. It's telling me I'm going to get an IP address, a public IP, and also because I'm running a Windows machine, it's going to give me first-time login credentials as well to log into the machine. So it's as simple as that, and I just go ahead and click Create. So my fourth VM here is now in the provisioning state. There's some information here, but just scrolling down a bit, I can see and validate that the shape configuration is indeed 7 OCPUs. So I'm going to expect 14 vCPUs, and also I've got 17 gigabytes of memory. So just whilst that waits to provision, I'm going to pause and then we'll come back and log into the VM itself and see what it looks like. Great, so that VM now has provisioned itself. It's now currently with a green box up in a running state. And we can see there, yep, definitely still 7 OCPUs and 17 gigs of memory. So let's just go log into Windows and see what it looks like inside there. I've logged into the Windows operating system now, and let's go check on the shape configuration. So we're just going to open up CPU ID or CPU-Z here. And whilst that's loading, we're just going to take a quick squiz at Task Manager, head on over to that Performance tab. And I can see here that I have a total of 14 virtual processors on one socket. And if I count it up by the little graphs, that would be 14 vCPUs. So 7 OCPUs. Coming across to the memory, you recall we configured 17 gigabytes. So Windows is showing 16.8 gigs, but pretty close. Now we'll just flick over to CPU-Z here, and I can see once again, it is confirming to me that we have 7 cores of an AMD processor, the latest AMD available, and 14 threads. Heading over to memory, we can also see, yep, perfect. Over 17,000 megabytes of memory, so exactly what we configured. If you found this Cloud Quickie useful, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And also let me know if there are other topics you'd like me to cover. Otherwise, head on over to cloudquickie.com for a more in-depth detail. Cheers.